Good afternoon, everybody. This is Adrienne Montgomery. I'm with ERP VAR. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we're talking about Sage 100 and two very mature integrations with Sage 100. Years and years of experience both of these integrations have. They work together seamlessly. It's CertiPro's e-commerce integration with Shopify. That's what we're going to be focusing on today on the e-commerce side. And then integrated shipping with CertiPro and Sage 100, and then CertiPro's integration with Shopify. So we're going to be talking about automating the Shopify and shipping integration for Sage 100. I'm so pleased to be joined by three very experienced colleagues in the Sage 100 channel. Raphael Avidison, he's the account executive over at CertiPro. Been working with Raphael for years. Thank you, Raph, for joining us. Nick Young, senior ERP consultant over at CertiPro. And Matt St. John, he's a senior account executive over at StarShip. All of these fellows have been working with me for years and really appreciate them participating today. CertiPro, just a little bit about CertiPro. CertiPro is based in Los Angeles. They're a leader in integrating Shopify, but not only Shopify, other e-commerce apps as well, very well-known e-commerce apps with Sage 100. So if you're looking to integrate an e-commerce web store with your Sage 100, you should definitely talk to CertiPro. CertiPro's Shopify integration is powered by eLink, and that's a two-way connector, and it handles all the data connection points for business partner portals and other B2B, B2C e-commerce needs. And as a Shopify partner, CertiPro also has a team of Sage certified developers, consultants, technicians, CPAs, and software programmers that leverage over 20 years of expertise. A little bit about StarShip. They're founded in 1987, and they provide integrated multi-carrier shipping software that connects your warehouse to the front office. They have several different parcel carriers that they integrate with: FedEx, UPS, USPS, DHL, Speedy, LTL carriers, AAA, Cooper, Saia, Old Dominion, RNL, XPO, and more. They provide that tight integration with not only Sage 100, what we're talking about today, but also Sage 300, Acumatica, Dynamics GP, Dynamics 365 BC, QuickBooks, SAP Business One, and Epicor. So if you're looking at options to switch off of your Sage 100 system, if you ever are, Sage 100 is a great solution. It's been around for a very long time, but if you're looking at making a change, we highly recommend that you talk to StarShip about their other integrations, and so that you can move into those if that's what you want to do. Amazon, eBay, Magento, and WooCommerce are some other e-commerce integrations that StarShip has a direct integration with. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and let Ross over at CertiPro kick us off with the Shopify integration.
Again, thank you so much, Adrian. Thanks everybody for joining. I wanted to start by thanking everybody for providing us with this opportunity to present our solution here today. As Adrian mentioned, my name is Raphael, and I am the account executive here at CertiPro, and I'm also joined by Nick Young, who's our eLink product manager. And I just wanted to start by, again, introducing our company a little bit more, just talking a little bit about us, our resources, our team, and then have Nick do the live demo and showcase the solution for Sage 100 and Shopify. So a little bit more about us. We're headquartered in Los Angeles, and we've been in business for over 10 years. And we specialize in integrating Sage products, Sage ERP products like Sage 100 with e-commerce platforms like Shopify, like Magento, and WooCommerce, as well as actually building them out. We're very Sage-centric ISV, and what it means is Sage is the only ERP system that we work with and we do this for. And again, what it really means to you is that we have a full team of consultants and developers for each end of the solution. So for the actual e-commerce store, right, the Shopify, Magento, WooCommerce, for the integration and Sage itself. And again, we have them all in-house, so we can provide really any custom solution or any type of solution to meet your needs. Our E-Link solution is compatible with Sage 100, Sage 300, Sage 500, Sage X3, and even Sage Intact. And on the e-commerce side, we integrate and work with Magento, Adobe, Shopify, Shopify Plus, and WooCommerce. And today's demo will be focusing specifically on the integration between Shopify and Sage 100. Shopify has significantly evolved over the past year, and not only as a solution for small businesses, but now as a strong platform for mid-market and even enterprise level organizations. With introduction of their advanced AI capabilities, enhanced customization, and tighter alignment with ERP functionality, Shopify is becoming a strategic choice for serious commerce operations. And one of the most exciting updates we've rolled out is a full support for customer-specific products on the Shopify Plus platform. Again, that means if you have any negotiated pricing with your customers, customer groups, or price list set up in Sage 100, you can now reflect that live on your Shopify store. We can pull that pricing directly from Sage, so each customer sees exactly what they're supposed to. No manual overrides, no errors, just real-time pricing control that just makes your site feel smart and very personalized. And what we do in a nutshell, right, just like a high level overview, we provide a solution for companies that just need a better and integrated e-commerce site, right? Whether it's B2B or B2C. Before working with us, our customers may not even had a website set up, or maybe just had one but just wasn't integrated, and that would mean that all the online orders would still have to be manually entered into Sage for order processing. And some of our customers came in asking for something that worked like Amazon but more with that B2B functionality, and just didn't know what solutions were available in the marketplace. And this is where E-Link comes into play. So E-Link forms a two-way sync between Sage and that e-commerce platform, that Shopify. It handles all data connection points between Sage and that portal. So again, your customer information can now be updated to that web store or the portal 24/7. And online orders can be created in Sage and be ready to be processed within minutes. And one thing to note, this is all completed without running manual batch jobs or any manual export and import procedures with a third party. It's fully automated. And the way it works, again, just a high level overview, the data would just flow between your Sage ERP and the web store in encrypted files. It'll make your company's backend completely anonymous and secure. And because the store would be hosted outside of your Sage environment, your customer would never have direct access to Sage, which just adds that extra layer in terms of cybersecurity. And I just wanted to very briefly touch on a few benefits that our clients report back to us prior to the demo. It would just streamline order processing with things like address mirroring and easy repeat ordering. It'll automate backend order processing. So again, everything would be automated there. It would provide tracking updates to customers right inside that portal. And that's something Nick and Matt can showcase how well we actually work with StarShip. And as you guys know, this is something everybody is used to seeing on Amazon and eBay or other big platforms. And just it will improve your customer service in general, because our portal will just significantly reduce customer service calls, because it automatically updates with that necessary information. And automation would also mean that there's less chance of data errors from manual entry, and your customers would have a clear visibility into important details to them, like ETA, right, for any type of shipping, product stock, order history, transaction data. And this is all updated in real time. Essentially, everything your customer would really need would be consolidated in one efficient and user-friendly platform. And without further ado, I'd like to pass the controls to Nick and have him actually showcase this to you.
All right, let's get rid of this box so they can actually see. Okay, so we have Sage and we have our Shopify store. I'll head over to a catalog. Okay, so we have the two-way integration with Sage, so we can actually create products in the store from your Sage product. So in Sage, you can go create a product, set your price, your quantities, all of that. Click on enable, web enabled, and we can actually create that product in the Shopify store. So some of these are created from Sage. And then going the other way, we can actually, send orders and everything to Sage, so which is what I'm going to demonstrate here. So we'll grab one of these products, this fancy lamp. We'll get a couple of them and add them to the cart, and then head over to our checkout. So in the checkout, I'm just going to do a standard checkout. I'm going to pay with the credit card. And pay. So what will happen is this order will be placed in your Shopify store, in which you have access in such Shopify backend for that, and then that will be automatically added to our queue to be exported to Sage. All this happens in the background on schedule, so every 1 minute it'll go grab orders from Shopify, bringing them to the queue, and then export them to Sage. We have this utility where you can come and manage the actual integration. So here you can see it just pulled in that new order and it just sent it to Sage. So you don't have to do anything, but if you wanted to speed up the process, or maybe you set up the intervals to be like every hour you want to bring orders, but you need to come in and get one immediately, you always have direct access to the integration via this portal that'll be installed. So we can check, we can go into Sage and we can see that order that we just created. And so here you can see we have this order from today. Brings on all the defaults that you would set up, and then it brings over the actual Shopify user email. These are the addresses that were in the checkout. We have our 2 lamps that we just ordered. So order comes into Sage as you'd expect, and then we will go ahead and actually invoice this. So you can see we do send the invoices and tracking back to Shopify. We do the fulfillment in Shopify so that everything happens all the way through. So I'm going to go to invoice data entry. Here, if you're using StarShip from V Technologies, then you'll be able to go to shipping data entry, do your shipping. StarShip is going to write back your tracking numbers in the exact same place that I'm going to put a tracking number here. I just don't have StarShip in this demo, so we'll do the manual invoice and we'll write our tracking numbers, and then StarShip will show you the actual shipping process in right after this. So we're going to pull in that order that we just did, put in a fake tracking number here, and then we'll just ship this complete so we can fulfill it on the Shopify side. So all right, let's try it this time. Okay, now that we've created that and posted that invoice, so right now you have our fulfillment here. Again, this will automatically pull that invoice and do the fulfillment here. You could come in anytime, like I can click, I just missed it because it just went away. Let's see the non-fulfilled. You can see that order that we had just done already just got fulfilled, so I didn't even get to it fast enough to show you. But here, this has been sent to back to Shopify with the full fulfillment. So here, if I look at that order, now it's showing as fulfilled. And if we go looking at that order, we can see that, we have the 2 drops. Here's our tracking number that we added. So perfect integration between Sage and Shopify. One thing I want to note is that we do have actual full integration for the pricing from Sage for your products for Shopify now. So if you're using Shopify Plus, we can actually bring in all of the Sage pricing structures for your price levels, price groups, contract pricing for items into the customers and customer groups in Shopify. And so when your customers log in, they'll actually see their Sage pricing here on the products. So this is a somewhat new feature. It's only available on Shopify Plus, but it does give you that full B2B experience where your customers can just log into the same website, whether they're a new B2C customer or whether they're in an existing relationship where they might have discounts in Sage, and they'll see their actual pricing and they'll check out with their actual pricing. So that's a quick overview of our Shopify integration. So I will wrap this up, send it back to Adrian so that V Technologies can show you the shipping process that I had to skip here. So.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you again for taking time to join today's webinar. Again, my name is Matt St. John, Senior Sales Executive here at V Technologies for StarShip. And again, we're today going to kind of just do a brief overview of StarShip. I'll jump into a real quick demo, but if anyone's interested in learning more, please definitely feel free to reach out. More than happy to schedule a discovery call so we can talk about your shipping needs, make sure StarShip's a good fit, and then after that, we can schedule a live demo. I like it to do it that way because I could even take the information I learned from our discovery call and kind of customize the demo for you so you can really see how StarShip will work in your Sage environment. But with all that being said, again, today we're going to talk, kind of flow through that integration between eLink, Shopify, of course, Sage, and then StarShip. So as you just saw there, nice thing with eLink, they're going to automatically grab the orders from Shopify for you, create those sales orders inside of Sage. And then once we're ready to basically do the pick, pack, and ship, we're going to pull that information into StarShip, process our shipment, update Sage with the shipping information like tracking, and if we're writing back like freight amounts. And then of course, what eLink will do is also grab that tracking information and reverse translate that to the order. So it's a great kind of plug and play integration that really helps streamline that whole e-commerce order and shipping process. So with StarShip, again, we have ERP, about 14 different ERP integrations. Today, again, talking about the integration with Sage 100. Now, we do also have e-commerce integrations. With that being said, our e-commerce integrations are nowhere like eLink. It's a great product. On ours, it's either going to be more on the back end where StarShip's just going to update the e-commerce information. So we're not automatically pulling the data into Sage and creating those sales orders. So a lot of customers, they see StarShip offers e-commerce, but once I tell them, it's more in the back end. Really recommend something like eLink where it's automatically monitoring your website, creating those sales orders inside of Sage. Again, really helping you save time. But StarShip is what we consider multi-carrier, multi-mode. Basically, what that means is just through the StarShip user platform, you are going to be able to process your small parcel, LTL, blind drop shipments, international shipments, so on and so forth. So it really allows the shipper to just use one piece of software. Other things like multiple printing options, with StarShip, we can tell it where each of the different documents get printed. We can do things like if we need to customize, say, a pick sheet. We have a lot of clients, for example, that ship for Home Depot. So, hey, anytime it's for Home Depot, they have to print a special packing slip that has their information, their logo. It even has like a whole return section. So again, our team can create that, and then we can do rules where, okay, StarShip, only print this special packing list, say, if the order is for Home Depot. Of course, quoting, rate shopping, that's all live integration. So what we're doing is pinging carriers and returning your live contract information. We also offer things not only for helping shippers with their day-to-day activities, but a dashboard program where, maybe we want someone in the front office to be able to see what's been shipped, do things like late delivery reports. Maybe something wasn't delivered on time, but really give the front office access to, if you want them to gain access to shipping information, they're going to be able to use the dashboard program. Now, again, a lot of the shipping information is automatically going to Sage, but I'll show you a little bit of the dashboard on our demo. And then other integrations, if someone out there, if we are using, say, a warehouse management system, we do plug and play with warehouse management. Nice thing there is you're going to be able to use a scanning device, pick, pack, you can define all the shipping details, item to box details, even have some clients that do weights. All that can go through the scanning device. And then with StarShip, it's just going to automatically return all that information into StarShip. So you could have everything's built, packaged, weights, again, really streamlining the shipping process. And then if anyone out there is working with trading partners, requiring EDI, we also work with EDI solutions, a little more configuration on that because we have to do like rules about, hey, setting up trading partners so StarShip knows which ones are our trading partners. But again, the nice thing with that is with a lot of the EDI solutions out there, StarShip is just going to automatically update the user-defined fields that they put into Sage for like that required advanced shipping notification information. So StarShip will automatically update those fields. Or if they don't offer something like that, we can even have StarShip just create an XML or a CSV file, an export file that contains all the required shipping information. But again, it gets you away from having to manually type in that information or cut and paste into Sage. So again, it's really a full solution that's going to help with shipping, front office, but also tie into any of the other ISV add-ons that you might have. All right. So as I mentioned again, we do have integrations with over dozens, probably 30, 40 small parcel as well as LTL carriers now. Again, that's a live integration to the carrier. So StarShip is going to automatically ping the carriers. It's going to return your live contract rates. We can also return published list rates. And again, with that being a live call, for example, if tomorrow, say UPS ups a fuel surcharge, when you reach out tomorrow, you immediately gain access to those new rates. So there's no staging or tables. Again, it's just a live call to ping each of the carriers with your account information. And then, of course, writing back, the full integration between StarShip and Sage 100, it gets rid of that manual data entry. So you're going to see on my demo, StarShip's just going to automatically bring in all the shipping information. So the sale, we can pull by sales order, so we can bring in sales order header, line item detail, all that information is going to automatically flow in for the shipper. And then on the reverse translation, where once we process the shipment, StarShip, of course, is automatically going to update Sage with things like tracking and freight amounts and even additional information if you'd like. Now, also with StarShip, you can even do rules. So, for example, a lot of our clients do best way shipping where, hey, StarShip, I want you to automatically select the least expensive carrier or maybe least amount of delivery days. So you can even apply rules. If you have certain customers where, hey, it's always got to go out FedEx second day, we can even create rules for that as well, where, it's customer ABC, StarShip automatically make sure it's going out FedEx second day. Okay. Again, the integration with Sage is live. So as these orders, are getting brought into Sage, once we're ready to ship them, StarShip automatically picks them up. So it's going to look at the data live real time from Sage. When it brings in the information inside of StarShip, it's live real time. But most importantly, the write back again is live real time. So as soon as my shipper processes a shipment through StarShip, automatically going to update Sage with that shipping information. And then we also do things if you needed. We offer what we call our e-Notify program. So if anyone out there is using like a UPS Quantum View email or the FedEx email, nice thing with StarShip, you can still use those, but we also have our e-Notify program where that allows you to design your own custom branded email templates. So that way you can set out an email with your information. If you want item box detail, ETAs, hyperlink tracking numbers, and I'll show you an example of one of those during the demo. And then StarShip is a cloud solution, 100% cloud. So you're going to gain access. It is hosted in Microsoft Azure. So you'll gain access to all Microsoft security. And again, nice thing with being cloud, it doesn't have to have anything installed on servers in your house. Everything is just going to be done in the cloud. Also for shippers too, if needed, they can really access StarShip from anywhere. And then I was just talking about kind of those integrations with carriers that StarShip has. So this is just a snapshot of some of those carriers. Again, like I said, it's a live integration, returning list price, your live contract prices. With LTL carriers, a lot of them do support like things where StarShip's automatically return pro numbers. Also doing pickups where we'll electronically ping the carrier and say, hey, you have a pickup ready to go, come get it on this date between these hours. All right, so again, this is just a snapshot of some of those carriers that we integrate with. But let me go over here and I'll X out and we'll jump onto my workstation. So on my screen right now, this is the StarShip kind of the main screen. So here, as you see, connected to Sage 100, most clients pull by the sales order number. So but we do have options where we can pull by invoices or customer numbers. With the workflow, I can type in this case, the sales order number up here. I can, if it's barcoded, just use a wedge type plug and play scanner. I could also down here just manually select the sales order. Things with down in this lookup by user, I could sort by any of these columns. I can add, remove columns. And if I need to, like I have up top, I can apply a filter or multiple filters to narrow that search result. So I can kind of do that by user login. And then, of course, the other things, like if you do run it across where, hey, like in this system, I have actually 6 orders inside of Sage that are actually going to the same ship to or same customer. So it can even do things like consolidating multiple orders into one shipment. So really help, again, streamlining that way throughout the day. You're not sending out multiple orders that, again, are going to the same customer. Now, in this case, I'm just going to click this create shipment icon. But regardless, if I type in, I barcode scan, or I just manually selected, StarShip's just going to take me to the shipping screen. And here, as you see, all the information from Sage, basically from that sales order, is automatically being brought into StarShip. So we're simply data mapping information. So we can really tell StarShip, pick any of the fields and tell it, hey, I want you to look at this Sage field. And nice thing with this data mapping is we can also bring in user-defined fields. Other things, like in this case, just because I'm pulling by the sales order does not mean I'm just limited to bringing in sales order fields. So, for example, a lot of our clients do third-party type shipments, and they might store the customer's account number on the customer maintenance. So we can map that in. So again, nice thing is we can bring in different fields, user-defined fields, but really what it boils down to, we want to set this up so as a shipper, of course, the less things they're going to have to touch, type in, the better. Okay. So sender information, this is just an example of, we do support blind shipment. So my system's set up to automatically change the sender name. Here's my recipient information. Here's my transportation, which this is just being selected originally by looking at the ship via code inside of Sage. So whatever the ship via code's on the sales order, that's what StarShip used to originally select carrier service. Again, here's an example where it automatically changed the billing type to third party for me. So I don't have to type any of this information as a shipper. And then we have all our shipping details, but main area we want to concentrate here is the packaging. Most shippers, this is the first spot they go to, but in this case, StarShip's going to bring in, what was on the order, what's available. So as you see, there's my bronze lamps. I have the 2 of them. Now from this area, if I needed to, I can add additional packages. If this was an LTL shipment, we can get into item box pallet detail. So I can add boxes, add pallets. But for example, if I had multiple items and I needed an additional package, we also can get into item box detail by simply dragging and dropping the items. All right? So item to box detail is not a requirement with StarShip. So if you don't want to get into that level, you don't have to. Also, in this case, I'm just going to say, these 2 items fit into a medium box. We do have a database where you can store boxes, bags, bales, pallets, what have you. And then, of course, there's my quantity. Weights, my system, I'm just pulling the weights from Sage, but of course, you can use an integrated scale, throw the box on the scale. So I have my weights. My bill weight, which is a carrier dimensional weight. So if you are getting hit with dimensional fees, StarShip will rate shop at the correct dimensional weight. And then if there are differences, it also goes to the carrier at that correct dimensional weight. So later on, you're not going to receive that bill from the carrier that, says, hey, you sent this out at 10 pounds, but, actually it was 20. All right, so you don't have to worry about that. But after packaging, all I'm gonna have to simply do is scroll down here, and then this is where we're gonna see that live rate shopping that I've been talking about. So here's some of the carriers I've set up. I also have rules where, in this case, it's just small parcels, so I only wanna see those carriers and services. I have a lot of freight carriers or LTL carriers, so I'm just telling StarShip I don't need to see those, but again, up to you what displays here. And like I mentioned, this is a live call, so we're returning information like business days, total days, ETA. Here's my published list rate, contract, and then applied is what we usually write back into Sage is what we want to charge the customer. Now, probably on an e-commerce order, we've already charged the customer ahead of time, so we can also do write back rules that tell StarShip, in this scenario, don't override that freight amount inside of Sage because that's what we've already charged the customer. But applied charges can also include plus or minus freight rules. So you could set up rules where, hey, it's a certain customer, give them a discount or charge them more. You can, a lot of clients do free shipping over X amount of dollars. So you could have rules set up to add or take away for what you want to charge the customer. All right. Now, I'm just going to quickly click ship and process here. StarShip, we can also do ship, process, create return labels if you need those. And in this case, this is an actual international shipment. And as you see, I didn't have to stop and fill out any of the international information. And that's because StarShip does have a database where we can store all that. So once we ship and process for the shipper, basically going to receive my shipping labels, documents like packing slips. I'll bring this up also for here. Here's an example of like a custom packing slip. We can do international documents like commercial invoices, certificate of origin, on the LTL side, bill ladings, pallet labels, so on and so forth. So again, really for the shipper, they're going to receive their labels, documents. StarShip's is going to take them back to the main screen. And then of course, inside of Sage, what we do is we will create the shipping data entry record. So that will be updated. There's my tracking information. Again, if we're writing back freight, we can update that. And then also what StarShip is doing is, because we're creating the shipping data entry record, it's also for the front office automatically creating that invoice. So here's the invoice. We do support batches. So as you see, I have this one going into batch 1. But here's the one we just shipped. Again, there's my tracking, item to box detail if I'm getting into that level of detail. And then of course on the totals tabs, again, for writing back freight amount, it's going to go there. But we can also do custom write back. So in this case, I do have a user defined field where I'm telling StarShip, yeah, always push back my contract rate. So before someone updates the invoice, they can make sure you're not shorting yourself. Or I have a lot of clients, especially with e-commerce, you know what, let's push back what we would have charged that customer for shipment at the time through StarShip. And in that way, you can actually compare, make sure your rates on your website are correct. Okay. So again, that's kind of the complete cycle and a quick rundown. And then as I mentioned with the dashboard program, this is where I can have anyone access and gain information like, what's shipped, like I said, late delivery. We have a whole bunch of canned crystal reports if you want to run those. And then also in here is the e-notify program where I can, and I'll quickly go here. We'll go to pending. I don't send mine out, but as an example, here's one for the one we just shipped. So again, just gonna quick template I designed. You can attach any document StarShip generates, but here's our logo. I can let them know Sage fields like PO, sales order, how it's being shipped, where it's going to, number of packages, ETAs coming from the carrier, so that's accurate. And then if I do want to get into that item box detail, I can do that. Again, hyperlink tracking numbers. So this is going to kick the client to the carrier's website so they can track. And then on these templates, if you like, you can even hyperlink fields to kick them back to your website. And then of course, with this template, I do have this 20% off promo code. So you can also do emailing rules. So maybe we only want this template to go to certain customers. So of course, you can set up those rules and StarShip will follow them. Also with StarShip being cloud, we just have different plans based on shipping volumes. But the nice thing with the plans is you do gain access to, for example, if we do small parcel and LTL, you're going to gain access to all the LTL and small parcel carriers that we have. And then other things is, you gain access to unlimited users. So nice thing with those, it's not like you have to buy, I need the UPS integration, I need 5 users. It's basically package deals where everything is included. So with that, again, real quick overview. But like I said, if anyone's interested into going into a deeper dive, more than happy, please feel free to reach out and I'll hand it back over to Adrian.
Thank you so much, Matt. Appreciate everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.